Yeah, so we're looking at 7.1. The first two sections of 7.1 are kind of similar. First section goes over greatest common factor. And I don't know if you remember, but when we did greatest common factor, we did these factor trees. And we did, well, 2 is just 1 times 2. So that's the product of primes is already there. 10 is 5 times 2. 8 is 4 times 2. Then you can break this into 2 times 2. You can bring this 2 down. So you break it into primes. Well, you can actually break this b to the fourth down into b, 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 b. I'm going to kind of separate these three things here. Okay, you can break this b cubed down into b times b times b, and b squared into b times b. So then what we did in greatest common factor, if you can remember back that far, we just looked at these factors, and said, what do each have in them? Well, they all have a 2 in them. So we circled the common. What we did was we usually did it with two numbers, so we circled pairs. There's 3 here, so we have to circle 1 in each one. They also have a b, right? And they also have another b. All of them have one more b. So really, and remember, greatest common factor, we just looked at one tree and we said, hey, the greatest common factor is 2 times b, which is 2b squared. Okay, if you're looking for greatest common factor, you're just seeing what number can come out of these 3 numbers and what variable can come out of these 3 variable types. Okay, so let's take a look at what we're doing with. So here you go, factor out the greatest common factor. Okay, so what it's wanting to do is, it's wanting to get these in parentheses right here. And we're going to factor a number out of 2, 10, and 8. What comes out of 2, 10, and 8? Well, the number 2 is the biggest number that can factor into those. What variable goes into b to the fourth, b cubed, and b squared? Well, you can't get a b to the fourth to go into a b squared. But you can cancel out a b squared from a b to the fourth, and I'll show you that. So b squared is the greatest common factor. So what's actually happening here is we're doing the reverse of a section in chapter 6 where we multiplied this little ditty out here and got this little ditty up here, okay? So 2b times what is 2b to the fourth? Well, 2 times 1 is 2. B squared times b squared is b to the fourth. Okay, 2 times what is negative 10? Well, 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. And b squared times what is b cubed? B squared times b. All right, 2 times what is a positive 8? Well, 2 times a positive 4 is a positive 8. And then let's talk about this. B squared times what is b squared? Well, b squared times nothing is b squared. So what you actually have is this 2b squared times b squared minus 5b plus 4 in parentheses. That's your answer. You're factoring these out. And if you multiply this out, you would happen to get, let me change my pen color here. If you multiplied this out, you would happen to get this answer right up here. Okay, so we're doing the opposite of multiplying this out. We're actually factoring out a greatest common factor. Let me show you another. So, again, we're doing the same type of thing. We're going to put parentheses here because we're going to factor out a 30, 12, and 6, the biggest thing that will come out of there. Well, coming out of 30, 12, and 6, the biggest number that comes out, 2 goes into 30, 12, and 6. 3 goes into 30, 12, and 6, but the biggest one is 6. Okay, look at x to the 5th, x to the 6th, and x to the 4th. The biggest thing that will go in there is actually the smallest degree of that monomial. It's x to the 4th. Same way here, y squared, y to the 4th. The biggest one to go in there is the smallest of them. So it's this one. Y goes in there. So now you have to think. You have to think, okay, 6 times what is 30? Well, what's 6 times what's 30? It should be 5. X to the 4th times what's x to the 5th? X to the 4th times x is x to the 5th. Okay, we can write these in here. So 6 times 5 is 30. X to the 4th times x is x to the 5th. Y times what is y? Nothing. Y times nothing is y. Okay, plus 6 times what is 12? A positive 2. 6 times positive 2 is 12. X to the 4th times what is x to the 6th? Well, x to the 4th times x squared is x to the 6th. Y times what is y squared? Well, y times y is y squared. Okay, 6 times what is negative 6? 6 times a negative 1 is negative 6. X to the 4th times what's x to the 4th? Nothing. Y times what is y to the 4th? Well, y times y to the 3rd is y to the 4th. So basically you have this as your answer. You don't really need to put this 1 in there, and I'll rewrite this y to the 3rd here. That's your answer. We'll work on a few of these. You'll kind of get it. It's actually the very first step in factoring.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.